Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me. So good to see you, my good friend Beatriz, and to participate in this forum and have the opportunity to hear from, wonderful speakers from all over Latin America. And I'll try to contribute to a better understanding of the political environment in Brazil, or the challenges that we face in the upcoming elections. So let me back up a little. Brazil, as some other countries in Latin America, has had dictatorships in the last century, and should be still considered a society post-conflict, where the rule of law is still fragile. I don't think we should make mistakes about this and think that we are completely out of the woods. And so if we understand that the rule of law refers to a principle of governance in which all persons, institutions, entities, and the state itself are accountable to laws that are publicly promulgated, enforced, and independently settled, and if we accept the concept of accountability and fairness in the application of the law, as well as separation of powers and independence, when we look at Brazil and what's happening today, we see that it's fragile. It's a problem. So we have a president now that was elected not because of his own merits or ideas or projects, which I don't think he has many, but against others. And we saw this. We saw this in the United States in 2016, right? Where a president was elected not because of his ideas, but because most of the population was against Hillary Clinton. And I think that pretty much the same happened in Brazil in 2018. So the absence of a clear project of an idea makes the presidency very erratic and subject to pressure from several interest groups that not always represent the interest of the people or the nation. So this president that was elected with the support at the time of the PSDB and the PMDB, parties with a rich history of fighting for democracy, parties where its main leaders themselves were persecuted during the military regime. So it was amazing that they would support a man that was praising torturers and that was calling for military intervention, that was calling for shutting down the Congress, and is now calling the population to arm itself in defense of an alleged future election fraud. So I think this is a very complicated sign and a very complicated scenario, because all that I just said shows that around 25 or 30% of the Brazilian population do not acknowledge that violations to human rights were made during the dictatorship and still need to be repaired. I think Brazil, differently from Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile, was the only country where nobody was convicted because of the crimes they commit during the military regime. So there is still something to be done. And again, the fact is that we have a president that praises all of that. And another evidence of the fact that the president do not believe in the rule of law is what just happened like 2 weeks ago, where the police made a riot in a favela, and the excuse was that they were fighting, it was necessary to fight crime. However, nobody was arrested. There was no process, nothing. They just kill people. And again, the president goes and, appeal to that desire that the population have to be tough on crime, and endorses the killing. So that's the president. Then we have the judicial system, which also is not independent, and it goes, you never know what can happen. It's not that it's in favor of this or that, but there are several different interests. Last week again, something happened that showed the madness of our Supreme Court. So in October, a congressman had his mandate nullified because he was distributing fake news, etc. So the Supreme Court for elections said that he was not going to be allowed to participate in the election in October. And then just last week, one minister of the Supreme Court by himself he established his mandate against the whole court. So it's really something that it's even difficult to explain to normal people that this can happen. And now the court is gonna, the judges will gonna reconvene to decide what to do. But in any way, and then we have the Congress, and the Congress, we have 32 parties in Brazil, and 32 parties in Brazil is very hard. So it's all the interests, and so you have a big center, what we call centrão, that actually dominates everything. So I'm gonna try to summarize because I'm not sure about the time. So
you have 30 seconds.
No, I don't have 30 seconds. I need more. So with all these things, we get the elections. As everybody knows, the country is very divided, very polarized. But the last poll from Datafolha shows that Lula is 21 points ahead of Bolsonaro. And the economy is not helping Bolsonaro. This month of May was a little better to him because we had better numbers in unemployment, the economy grew a little, the inflation is cooling a little, China is reopening, and China is today the biggest partner of Brazil and surpassed the United States. So these are all good news, but still the economy is not in good shape. And when the poll was announced, Bolsonaro and his campaign doubled down on the narrative, which is simple: disinformation, discredit, and distraction. Repeat at all times that the polls are not reliable. Repeat the idea that there is a secret room where votes will be changed, and repeat that the electronic vote can be hacked, and adopt populist policies and call to arms. So this is how they are responding. I cannot say I don't know what will happen if in fact Bolsonaro loses the election, which looks like he will. I know there is a fear of a coup, or at least some version of January 6th. You can see that in the press every day, in all publications in Brazil, the main publications, and during the weekends, the main magazines, Veja, Isto É, Carta Capital, there is an article, 2 articles, 3 articles talking about the threats to democracy, about what's going to happen. I particularly do not believe that that will happen, although in 2 years ago, the Latin American Barometer from Vanderbilt made a poll with a lot of Latin American countries, and it shows that the support for democracy in Latin America is not great. I mean, is going down, and is going down, and the tolerance for coups, it's increased between 2010 and 2019, and today is about 25%. So I think in Brazil we have this scenario that I think is needs our follow-up and attention, is not good. But in the whole Latin American, and as I think Eduardo Amadeu said, the liberal democracy didn't bring the results that people were expecting. And that's one of the reasons that people are so disappointed. Thank you very much.